it's Kelsey
and Kendra,
and we're finally filming this how requested video on how to move out and be independent.
We've got a lot of requests to do this video, like on our Instagram, Twitter, here on YouTube. We've just been seeing it like a lot floating around.
We want to go ahead and apologize for waiting so long to get this video up because some people have requested probably like over like 3-4 months.
So probably longer than that.
Probably longer than that. We've just been procrastinating. But a lot of people wanted to know like how we saved and move out, which I thought was very interesting because we really didn't do anything out of the ordinary. We have like 6 steps, well 6 topic steps, I guess you can call it, on how we started to save and move out. So let's just get right into it. Tip number 1, save. Save. Please save your money. You cannot move out with no money. You cannot pay any bills with no money.
Like if you, and especially if you have a mom like ours, when we first decided that we wanted to move out, my mom just basically said, y'all gonna have to save and like buckle down. That's exactly what she said. You're gonna have to buckle down and save, because I'm not helping y'all, you know, pay bills or pay rent or anything like that. Because our mom, of course, she helped with guiding us to save and manage our money and that kind of stuff, but she wasn't, you know, giving out checks to move out. So you want to make sure you're disciplined in that way and not, you know, go on a spending spree every time you get paid.
Yeah.
So make sure you always save something. And saving just is a important life tip just in general, even after you move out.
Yeah. Like
just save all the time. You always want to have something extra.
Yeah. Have a cushion.
Yes.
Save some for a rainy day. We've always worked. We started working when we were 15, but when we were 19 is when we actually started to buckle down and realize, okay, look, we really have to start saving if we want to move out.
Like, we worked before that, like Kelsey said, when we were 15, we started working. But then, like, from like 15 to like 18, we were just like spending our money every time we got paid. We weren't really like serious about saving for real. So like she said, like 19, 20 is around where we were like serious about it.
So we always wanted to move to Atlanta, so we knew we had to do in order to get there. You always want to just, you know, realize what you're saving your money for. And know that it's for a reason. Saving is just the foundation.
Number 2, you always want to have a plan, like have a game plan, like how much do I need to save, where do I want to move, like location, price, your budget, all that kind of stuff. You need to take all that into consideration and realize like how much am I going to need, like basically just research everything that you need to know before you move out. You don't want to, you know, move out completely blind, not knowing anything, and you want to just be prepared. So when we say have a game plan, like I said, location, figure out where you want to move. Also price, like prices, figure out like your budget and how much are you willing to spend, how much can you spend, which also depends on how much you save. Very important again. So how much you save depends on like where you're going to be living. So it depends on where you want to live. So that's what we mean when we say have a game plan.
Because you don't want to be unprepared and be looking at apartments way out of your means and save not enough. So you always want to save enough for what you want. Okay, that's where the next tip comes in, being realistic. And what we mean by that is like when you go apartment hunting, you can't be like, and sometimes like we used to do this, we used to go online and be like, oh my god, this apartment is so pretty, but we look at the price like, we cannot afford that. Like you cannot just be like in the clouds dreaming and stuff. You have to be realistic.
Yes. Like don't be ridiculous. Like if it's something like if you can afford it like just enough like every month, then that means you can't afford it. Like if you have more than enough left over after your rent and your bills, some people forget when you pay rent, the bills are not included. So make sure you have more than enough. Even when you see that rent, don't forget like you have to have like a deposit. They don't tell you nothing like that when you're online. You just see rent. I'm for real, like that's all you see. So you're just like, oh, that's not that bad. But when you first move, it's like a lot at once. So they're gonna ask you for a security deposit and all kind of stuff like that. So you want, that's why we said again, save. Like the saving tip is gonna be, you know, relating to each of these other tips. So that's why we always say save, because you want to have more than enough, because you don't want to be stressed out and feel like, oh, I can't afford that, but I really like it.
You don't want to be living in the hood just because you ain't saving enough money.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just being realistic. Obviously, we don't want to stay in the hood, but if you can't afford like this big, amazing, beautiful condo,
it's still something reasonable.
Something reasonable, you know.
And nice.
And nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It's where that middle ground
You can have to
comes
sleep
in.
there at night.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we saying, basically.
You want to feel comfortable, but, you know, you don't want to be spending all your money just on rent.
And again, the save tip, I always like to put it this way. Every time you get paid, you don't want to be an extremist, but at the same time, you don't want to just put all your money in the bank. Every time you get paid, like right now, like say if you want to get something to eat, do that, but don't ever feel like, oh, I can't do anything until I move out. But you still want to save more than you spend. Not saying no one ever spends money when they save, because that's not realistic.
Yeah,
but
you gotta eat and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta eat, and every now and then you might need things to buy, like if you run out of stuff. So that's just everyday life things. You always want to save more than you spend. So every time you get paid, look at it that way.
Okay, next tip. Give yourself a deadline. And we say this because sometimes when you always talking about moving out or talking about doing anything, you're just talking. You're not really doing. So if you say, I'm going to move out this time, I'm going to move out this time, you give yourself a deadline because that's the date. That's the date that you want to be at the house. That's the date you want to be at a mom and daddy house.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to still be in the house and your parents like, didn't you say you was going to move out this time, that time? You actually want to be like, okay, this is the time I'm going to move out. Yeah. Our deadline was the 2 weeks before we started school at Aveda. So that was like perfect time. We gave ourselves like 2 weeks to like get settled in our apartment and stuff like that. So that kind of forced us to go ahead and just get out of the house. That
deadline date makes you realize that's what makes you basically get all your ducks in a row. Like it makes you like make sure you have everything you need. When you first move, you're not gonna have every single thing that you want, but you're gonna have what you need. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But that deadline date is the happy day. It's the day you're looking forward to. So when you go to work and you don't feel like dealing with your manager and your coworkers, just think about that date and be like, I'm gonna be out of here soon.
Yeah.
You know? Yep. So, because we know the feeling. When we used to work, I used to dread going to work every day and just be like, Kendra, just think about when you move out, it's gonna be worth it. So just think about the positive aspect of it when you're going to work, because I know you have those days where you just do not feel like being bothered with nobody or going to work, period.
Yeah.
So make sure you just think about that deadline date, because it kind of lights a fire under you.
Yeah, it does.
Like Kelsey said, a lot of people just be like, oh, I'm gonna move out, and then people be like, when? You don't know. So make sure you have that deadline date.
Okay, next tip. Roommates. As far as roommates, we would not recommend living with a friend because you never know somebody until you live with them. And being roommates with your friends can sometimes ruin friendships. That's not always the case, but most of the time it is the case.
Like 9 times out of 10.
We did have experiences where, you know, it wasn't working out with a roommate / friend, and it really did ruin a friendship, and I would not want that to happen to anybody. So don't move in with your friends. Not as good as it sounds. It's not a sleepover. Y'all gotta talk about splitting rent and bills.
Yes.
That's what business comes into play.
Like your friendship turns into a business.
Yes.
And they're not gonna like you after that.
Yeah, and that's not fun anymore. So that's a part of why it ruins friendships.
So if you were to live with somebody, if you don't want to live alone, live with a sibling. It works better because you know each other way better, because you basically live with each other your whole lives, like Kelsey and I have. So we know everything about each other, and we were raised the same way. So as far as like cleaning and all that kind of stuff, that's when you really start seeing like people true colors, like everybody not clean like you and all that kind of stuff, and you know, that kind of thing. Also, if you don't have a sibling, maybe stay with like a cousin, like another family member that you're close to, or so somebody like that, but not like friends, and especially not strangers or somebody who need a roommate too. No, that's the only thing y'all might have in common. I need a roommate.
Yeah, I know. Do not go on Craigslist and find your roommate. That is just crazy.
That's creepy. It's some creepers out there.
Yes.
So that's not safe. Wouldn't recommend that.
No.
But yeah, siblings and family members. So if you don't want to live alone, then those two are good. But if you do want to live alone, then that's fine too.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We told y'all it wasn't too much information, but it all is valuable information.
We'll leave the tips in the description box, all 6 of them, so you can jot them down and kind of, you know,
go off that.
Yeah, go by that
and just start your journey on getting ready to move out. Because I'm telling you guys, it's a lot of responsibility, we're not gonna lie, but there's nothing like having your own space and being independent and not have to depend on your mom or dad for anything.
Or to answer to anybody, like curfews and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, none of that.
And the older you get, the worse it gets. Trust me. You don't want too many grown people living in the house.
Yeah.
It does not work.
No. Everybody need to be in their own house.
Because at some point, like, it might seem all good. Like, that's the only thing I miss about being at home is not being responsible for bills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's the only thing that I miss about, like, being at home. Other than that, I would not go back ever.
No. Because we're too used to our own space.
And, like, how I like things and, like, I'm just too comfortable right now.
Yeah.
On my own.
And it's just nice having our mom to come visit us sometimes.
Yeah.
She likes to come here. It's like her little mini
Getaway.
vacation. She comes here and she chills.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
And then, like, you make your parents more proud and make them feel like, oh, yeah, I already got a child that's out of the house. Like, you know, one down, however many to go, however many siblings you have. It just makes them feel accomplished, too. So don't you want to make your parents proud, too?
So, yeah, those are all the tips. We hope you guys enjoyed this long-awaited video. We hope you take some of these tips, if not all of these tips. So, yeah, we'll see you guys in our next video. Bye.